Welcome back to Amnesia, Shadow of the Ramlord, Part 2. Now first, before we start, I want to slightly address the toxicity of the community on ModDB. Because, okay, I understand. People thought it was too short because of the development time. But you have to think. First and foremost, the developers improved the script system, the scripts, with a pre-processor. Second of all, they made an installer and they released the installer on open. So it's an open source installer, so everyone who wants to use an Amnesia custom story installer can use it and is free to do so. Third of all, they also made this project with open source in mind, so everyone can access these files and do anything with the custom story itself. So, okay, I understand it has been long in development, but it is kind of foolish to think that, depending on how long it has been in development, it's warrant an X amount of gameplay. It doesn't make any sense because, you can focus on quality or you can focus on quantity. And even if this has been long in the development, that doesn't warrant it has to be also long gameplay. That doesn't warrant it. But first and foremost, okay, it's short, I understand, but they also set the bar of voice acting and storytelling on the next level. Like, this is some next level shit in voice acting and storytelling, and it's amazing. So, if you think it's still, it still needs something, or it needs to be longer, they've released the custom story in open source, so you can make it longer yourself. So I would say, do it yourself, make it longer, make it how you actually wanted it, and I will be happy to make a walkthrough out of it. Now let's start again. Enough with the rant. Actually, I accidentally pressed a button, but that was not the stop record button. Okay, that's good. Okay, so there's a book there.
Each of the tomes bore a revolting subject matter. I am still suspicious how a baroness could so easily comprehend the occult. Tell me, is that why Anton was drawn to court you?
Oh, okay. Another ritual, huh? Interesting.
It is Johan. I received your letter. Where are you?
I'm over here. Johan,
Where?
I need your help getting out of here.
You mean at the door? But why did you make this library as a maze? It sucks. No, I mean... Who would make a maze out of a library? That's the point. I mean, in reality, that would be weird, to say the least.
I don't have much time to explain. Anton has sealed me within this library as punishment for disobedience. I was in the cellar, preparing a ritual to free myself, when one of his damned servants was sent in here to keep an eye on me. I fled into my study and locked the door. I need you to finish what I started. That way, we can both be free. My aim was to remove his incantation against me. To complete this, you'll require a few of the tomes around here. I left one in the cellar. The other two are near the historical chamber upstairs.
I remember I accepted your proposition. I would complete your ritual. Such a fool I was to believe your intent was pure.
Oh, so she's tricking me, huh? Alright. Excuse me?
The creature was once a guest of
Ah!
Alton's, having undertaken his process of transfiguration. What a horrific notion. To be the embodiment of malign, eldritch madness, paralyzed of control. Locked behind your own eyes.
Alrighty then. Is this the cellar here? No. Okay. So looks like a dining room of some sort. Actually, closet. The Munich manual. Oh yeah, Grimoire film. Okay. It's the first book we picked up. So is this one of the tomes that I had to pick up? I think so. At least that's what I hope. The handle was broken deliberately. I never gained access. Okay, so I will never gain access in the whole custom story. Is that the point? Damage beyond repair. I never took that way forward. I guess it's like that, yeah, that I will never be able to. Oh. But I did arrive at this point.
With the last of the grimoires in hand, I went to the ritual circle down the stairs.
Was that all?
As swiftly as I could, I unbound the spell to Amelia to the library.
But can I also do other stuff now? There's more to explore here than just that. Am I right? Yes, I think I... Yeah, okay, I went that way. I don't need to go that way anymore. No, nothing under there. But I thought there was also one in the cellar, but... I don't know. That's what they said. There's one in the cellar. But I haven't arrived in the cellar yet. Okay. There seems to be basically nothing else here. Ooh, oil, that is something. I have a lot of oil, so I don't need to be worried about running it out. For it to run out soon. Alrighty then. Why are you watching me? Don't watch me. No, sir. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Is that here? No, I saw one of those further down. Ah! Shit. I can't go that way, I have to go this way then. I can't go that way. This is bad. Oh wait, it was this way. Okay, what's going on? I don't feel this is good.
Now that I know you deceived me, I want you to tell me. What really spoke to me from behind that locked door?
Something really bad, I tell you that. Oh boy. Please, demons, be gone. You can have your chair.
The room was dark, permeating an unnatural energy. I discovered many artifacts about you, none more important than the gravestone outside. Your first child? I failed to judge you for its accidental demise. I would have done the same as you.
I used... okay, Kyosalam. Which one? No, wait, that one I suppose. This way of storytelling is like him telling the story after it has been done. So
As I meditated above the tombstone, I felt my consciousness transform into a fleeting dream. In a vision, I would gaze through your eyes, witnessing horrors without comprehension.
we found a semicircle of roped corpses, petrified and obeisants around an ancient sycamore. Comprehending the scene, I ordered my men to fell the tree, but the first to lift an axe was forced to his knees by an unseen force. Crying in hysterics, he began to whisper a prayer as his arms rose up in worship. Witchfinder Abigail Price, 1756, I think.
April 19th, 1836. He withdrew from the emotional, stowing himself away behind an indefatigable calmness. My access to our home was restricted, before finally ending in permanent bedroom arrest. Servants of a singularly disquieting cast tended to my baser needs, but it was the loneliness, above all, that tormented me. But as the weeks wore into months, I was made aware of a singularly terrifying company. Someone was growing inside me.
Ah, baby. Fetus deletus.
He was stillborn. Why did you do this to us?
What? Anton, I did not harm the child.
How did you kill him?
I just want to rest. I'm so tired.
How did you kill him?
I love the voice acting. The story is told in a way that it's like...
In the months after
never mind.
his marriage, Anton fled the manor and abandoned me to walk on his halls alone. After months of lonesome excursions down every corridor, through every trail in the forests, I reached a conclusion of mind that he no doubt intended for me. Last night, I celebrated what remained of my life, and the wonderful memories I would take with me. I danced and sang, cried and screamed the whole night through. I do not want to forget the sound of my own voice. One last celebration. Now, I will end this madness. I will not succumb to starvation, nor the frigid grip of insanity. Instead, I shall rend my arms with a knife until exsanguination embraces me with its cold, final recalls.
AKA suicide.
Amelia, dearest, you're awake. I'm glad. Did you truly believe I would leave you forever? No, 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 my love. We are now joined, eternally, renewed, without sacrament, without the burden of life. You won't be able to kill our son again, Amelia. Not like this. We will try again and again until we've brought our Lord, his vessel. Why are you crying? Do you not see the divine purpose?
Oh boy. It revealed its name, so my expertise was acquired. Entering the crypt, I was greeted by a low guttural breathing. I asked how the demon managed to take hold of the prior. I was poised to leave after hours of silence before a faint, harsh reply from the man himself pierced my ears. Same way we will find you, Witchfinder, in your quietest dreams. Witchfinder John Gray, 1785. So what I was saying is that this story is told like somebody has experienced it, it's already over, and he's telling the story to others. At least that's my take on it.
Your incantation left me unconscious, only to be discovered by Antar's lurking servant. I have a dim recollection of being dragged deeper and deeper into the bowels of Sicily. I came to my senses in pitch blackness. Iron was cut sharply into my wrists, and my feet were bound at the ankles. Suspended to the wall, I awaited the arrival of my captor.
Oh boy. Oh boy. It's coming.
Johann, we meet at last. Welcome to my home. Welcome to Sacia. It is a curious thing to be found in places not known. Tell me, how did you discover my secret? Who told you of my particularities? Surely this will help you remember their name.
I will not share words with you, creature.
This is bad.
No matter. In time, you will reveal all to our Lord. Good night, Witchfinder.
I don't think we're dead. Or are we dead? I don't know.
Let my dying breath bear forth this curse upon thee. In the end, when this malignancy has won, you shall be like it, burning in a lake of sulphur and brimstone. Forever and ever. that would not be the end of me. As I rose to my feet, I stood in awe of the intricate ritual twisted in abhorrent suggestion. I knew at once I had been brought back from the dead. Dull ache of inner pain coursed through my cold frailty, but I still possessed the inexorable fire of my conviction. He should have buried me in cement if he ever desired victory.
Alright. I'm a Revenant, huh? Let me just save. I have become a Revenant. Feels good, man. Actually, no. That's my body. I don't want to be a Revenant. I want to be alive. But, well, I can't. I guess I can't complain.
The Master wants to meet you, Johann. So he has commanded I bring you back. A pity. But I dare say, I will enjoy the sport of killing you over and over, on and on, until your very soul is broken. Come, join me in the Priory of Sacia. You have much to discuss with my lord.
That sounds bad. I don't have my lance. Well, whatever.
I resolved to destroy Sacia the only way I could. The room I was held in had a powerful divination ritual. With my grimoire, holy water, and salt, I could perform a cleansing banishment. Anton was no doubt in possession of these, in fear of raising up that which he could not put down. If I were successful, all of the unhallowed souls interred beneath Sacia would forever be dispelled, rendering a Pyrrhic victory at the least.
Already done. So I have to I search the catacombs for salt, holy water to complete the ritual of my own. Salt, holy water, and my grimoire, right? Yeah, the Last Keys of Solomon. That one was it. Alright.
I dare not recall the abhorrent madness which nearly seized my grip on sanity, Amelia. The depravity of his work. What a fiendish aberration of faith. I pressed forth into the darkest recesses of Anton's blasphemy.
Radio, stop complaining. Excuse me. The fuck?
After traveling all of this, I finally found what I was looking for. I stood my mind, the journey remained. I thought of home. I thought of eternity. Call my name.
It's a shovel. Alright, so I still need my salt. and the grimoire, which is very grim indeed. Stupid joke. Okay. I think there was also the other side. I think you have to put the ritual here. Or maybe there. Who knows? Locked. Don't do that. Okay.
I found the priory, so I see. A sacrilege. It held blasphemous tones beyond even my own comprehension. If I had the ability, I would have torn every brick down from that pagan temple.
How dare you? How dare you, you scum. I'm talking to the protagonist now, huh? How dare you? Tear down a pagan temple. How dare you? Do you contain salt? No, you contain a trap. Oh, no. Where is my salt? And my grimoire, for that matter. I need it. Okay. What do we have here? Creepy, more creepy stuff. What is that? Oh, can't pick it up. Unfortunately.
I found the holy water at last.
Huh? Oh, that's soft.
I crept out of the priory. Only a few tasks left.
I'm not supposed to fight. I guess not, I don't know, that's what it said. I need my grimoire, which I don't have here. Oh yeah, there it is.
We worship the false creator, the master of our material realm, is our true lord. He is the Leviathan. His wings span from shore to shore, and his emphatic will cultivates us in twisted purpose. From the blackness between the stars he dwells, and as he rebelled from his father, so have we from ours. Casting aside our pelagic ancestry, we embrace our black trip to scorn and apathy. His voice resonates within, though we see not his form. His blood courses in our blackened hearts, though we feel not his warmth. His soul possesses the worms that gnaw at our bones. From that inner world, we direct the malignancy which infects the false and the weak. Only from below do we truly see the heights.
Radio then. I will just save real quick. Loading. So I just have to. Is it all the way back there that I had to do it? Like where I. Yeah, I think he said that. He mentioned it. Where I was hung. That's what he said. At least that's what I think. Which demonic creature is keeping holy water and purified salt near him? I mean, they cannot even touch it most of the times.
Returning back to the ritual chamber of my rebirth, I heard a brief interrogation between Anton and an unknown supplicant. You were the topic of conversation, Amelia.
Speak, crone, lest I torture you further for your insolence. Do not presume to hold sway over me, Welch. You will tell me at once. Who gave you the letter? Who told you to deliver it to the mainland? Amelia, I will kill you!
Oh boy. That's bad in it. Excuse me, I need to go that way. That is the way I have to go. How dare you? I don't want to leave. Oh, no, don't I? Urgh. I want to do the ritual. Why can't I do the ritual? A necromancer should not call up that which it cannot put down. It's imperative to have tools to respond to such threats from the void, such as holy water. Sorry. Every necromancer should possess inordinate quantities of purified salt in order to properly align their rituals. To invite something and present it boundless access, it would kill indiscriminately. Oh, I wanted to do that ritual, but no, I can't. Seclorium. I stood aside the theatre as the rigid rain fell. I gazed down once more at the pamphlet, confirming the address against the dilapidated rune before me. Or dilapidated. The inked words, the fantastic transfiguration slid off the paper. The locals shared well testimonies of lavish play, curated by a singularly charismatic host, who would select a lucky few to private shows after. I crept through the wreckage, finding the illusionist amidst a pile of fresh corpses. Rise, deceiver. The thing halted in the fright as I pulled the trigger.
Mangled beneath the antediluvian wreckage, Anton had succumbed to a fate twisted by his own hubris. A fitting demise for something that believed it could betray the wishes of a demon.
I feel thy presence, Witchfinder. Gaze upon your rotting trophy. Hold your head high in victory. My Lord may have punished me, but it was I who failed him. I could not believe Amelia. Betrayed me. Betrayed our family. I accept my fate. Have you done the same?
There is no victory here for any of us. You've bound our souls to eternal damnation. You will rue the day you sold yourself to that abomination.
At least I walked beside my God. You will be enraptured to his frigid, eternal tomb. Divinity is an infection spread through the air by the poisonous tongues of lost men, bisected in between truths stolen from older beliefs and outright fabrication. Your exalted mythos was groomed, pruned, and manipulated throughout the course of time. From those untold aeons before man first crawled, lie the lost secrets that only the dead can remember. And I studied them all. I've cultivated a thread dating back thousands of years. Before the Nile split, and before the first bricks of Memphis were laid, I became enraptured by a horrifying proposition. A moral sacrifice that crept between the gates of my imperial mind, when only such things can, in my quietest dreams. I raised the dead, and plied their terrified, agonized minds for the answers I sought. I was in relentless pursuit to make contact with a singular being, the voice of the void itself. I knew it was still alive, without ego, without purpose. A cataclysmic maelstrom of unreality, beckoning me to grant it access, to reconstruct the banal restrictions of my reality. It called itself the Ramlord, Lucifuga.
Enough, creature. I will not stand to listen to your blasphemy. Before I draw my last breath, I will burn everything to the ground and purify this unhallowed crypt. Abhorrent madness from out of time has seduced you, but I will trap it forever in these Stygian catacombs. Have you any last words, Baron?
Last words. I am already dead. Forever, I will lie beneath the weight of my failure. The earth can assimilate the rotting, for sure. But I will join the chorus of screams buried underneath the very stones of Sicea. There is nothing left for me upon this world. My only love has betrayed me. You seek my damnation, and my Lord has forsaken. Show mercy, Witchfinder. When you have won, burn it all.
Alrighty then. Let me just save here. I think I'm gonna finish this story in one go. Back. Wow, what a conversation. I wonder if you'll get any encounter at all. I hope so, but I highly doubt it. Nice flames. There we are. A little statue with a shield. Hey, there's just there. Is there anything? Nope. Okay, let's go down then. To the Ramlord. Still have my purified salt and holy water. So that's a good thing. Let's check this thing out here.
soaked from the evening storm and shivering from the morning frost. His frail and broken visage stood trembling before me. But he was not dressed as a vagrant. His attire bespoke a curious, weary disposition. Wordlessly, I invited him inside. Watery gray eyes stared through me, conveying an aspect of distraction. He kept pace with me through the halls toward a guest suite, where his needs would be tended. An insidious smile crept upon his face as his head swiveled from side to side, gazing up at the portraits of my ancestors. Never once did he remark verbally. We came to a halt outside the room. I moved opposite to him and propped the door ajar. A made bed, warm lanterns, prepared table, and calming aromas of incense beckoned to him. He looked sullenly upon me and made a single utterance. Below. Without reply, I closed the door. He continued his walk, showing an obvious intention to the direction this time. I followed a few paces behind him, trying to better understand. His gait had poor form, but not a soldier's limb. His arms were held against his sides with purpose, and his head only averted to gaze upon portraits. He took me through the east wing with only our footsteps to break the tension. Reaching a main junction of stairs, he paused briefly before disrobing. The frayed cloak of maroon fell, revealing a maimed and bandaged frame. The tattered scraps of cloth belied the horrific quantity of scars he possessed. With the locomotion of a stiff marionette, his descent into the darkness began. I grabbed a lantern and followed suit. We passed down through the overlook library into the inner sanctum, and from there, tailed off into the crypts. I did not know how he knew of their existence, but would not confront him without answers first. With only the sting of my lantern light to pierce the miasma, I crept forward in an attempt to keep up with the traveler, whose stoic march continued, undeterred by any obstacle or sense. We reached the inner bowels of my art. Digouts, holes, and vaulted chambers dedicated to the nuance required for the interrogation of the deceased. We reached an older room, knee-deep in the ashes and bones of the ones who bore no more use to me. The traveler got down to his hands and knees and began to dig feverishly in the carnal remains. With abandon, he tossed various limbs and protrusions into the air behind him. I stepped out of the way and extended my lantern to observe with morbid fascination. He began to patiently inspect the wrists and hands before discarding them with careful consideration. Before long, an audible gasp broke the bustling of his efforts. He snatched up the intact bones of a left hand, and before letting out a broken sob, held it close to his chest. Now completely unaware of my presence, I stooped low, directly next to him, and inspected the hand. It was from a woman, a ragged indigent who only cried for mercy, if I recall. Of all her presumptive humanity and uselessness in answering my questions, she did bear a singular quality. From birth, she was missing her last 2 fingers.
Okay then. I think it's about Emilia and Anton. passage. Well, not about Amelia. Yeah, well, it is still about Amelia. Hell yeah. Let's go, boys and girls.
You removed my arms, my legs. I was powerless to stop it.
You know what I must do.
Please, just make it swift.
Okay.
Speak with me a while. Will. Tell me of your journey. You have little else to do. For as you must know, there can never be an escape for us. Cecilia will degrade into a dilapidated ruin. A curious study of a family vanished, and a manor abandoned. But we will never be found.
But what about salt and holy water? Anyway, I will figure this out. But anyway, this was this was the Shadow of the Ramlord. Definitely setting the next level. Storytelling and voice acting. That was like a 11 out of 10. That was amazing. So yeah, they really set the bar in voice acting and storytelling. It was also scary at times, but it wasn't supposed to be like your ordinary, oh well, monster there, monster grunt there, brute there. No, this was supposed to be Lovecraftian horror, which they executed pretty well. Personally, I wish there would be at least 1 or 2 encounters in it, but that is alright because it was still a masterpiece. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I'll see you in another custom story. Cheers!